Hi everyone. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whatever, whenever you come across this video. Let's see what day 9 has to hold for us. Gonna take a sip of the tea. Today I am drinking strawberry hibiscus. So if you're a friend that tea came out for me, I am drinking my tea. I forgot y'all can see me for a second. 1 second. My tongue burns extremely easily though, so it's one of the tragic realities of living a life as me. I'm just playing. I'm not, but I'm wearing these earrings today. I got from one of my best friends, the one I usually refer to as my only friend in me. I'm gonna stop calling him that. But he got these for me when he was in India. And they got little peacocks on them. I don't know if you can tell. But I felt like wearing them today. So I remember one day, it was after he graduated, but he came back to visit campus. And we were in Starbucks, and this one girl was like, "Oh my gosh, I love your earrings." I was like, "Thank you." She's like, "Where'd you get them?" I said, because he was with me. I was like, "Oh, he got them from India." And she was like, "Oh, well, thanks a lot." It's not like I can go to India and just buy me a pair of those. I was like, "Sorry, girl, but they are cute." And he was like, "What? Like a random girl just complimented you on your earrings?" I'm like, "Yeah, it happens." He's like, "Really?" And then him being him, so he got me this pair, and his girlfriend got me another pair. And he was like, "You'll have to tell me which ones you like more." Now, when I first got these are heavy, so I wasn't used to wearing a heavy earring. Um, and the ones she got me were like those were a hook earring, and I'd never worn a ring before. Um, Usually, when it comes to like hands-on things, I struggle. It's the joys of living life as me. If it's like theoretical, if I need to figure something out, like I can pick up on it fairly quickly. But if it's like I have to physically interact with something, it's typically a learning curve for me. Like driving, um, putting in, taking out earrings, contacts, and it is kind of frustrating because I don't struggle with a lot of stuff. So to experience that, it's like, it's extra whatever, even though it's small because it's not something I typically experience. So, and I am fortunate in that. So I can, you know, finagle with some earrings. But he was like, "You have to tell me who gets more compliments. Do you get more compliments when you wear my earrings or when you wear the earrings that she picked?" I'm like, "Oh my god!" But I remember it was Christmas time one year, and I got a bunch of compliments on the earrings she picked because people thought that they were ornaments because they were gold and red. But they're not. And they're like, "Oh." I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Oh, that doesn't count because it's Christmas." I'm like, "Okay, whatever." So the setup today is super wonk, but hopefully y'all can't tell. That's why you can see the box because it's tilted because how the camera is set up. And so I have these here as a frame of reference. So we'll see if any of this comes into the card today or if I'm just rambling. I just feel like breathing and fixing my posture a little bit real quick. I don't know why. I just feel like maybe we'll get some Four of Swords action. Maybe the Four of Cups because the Four of Cups in this deck is meditative. Maybe a Hermit. I don't know. It just feels like today would be a good day to stop and take stock and to just like be present and breathe and breathe. Be a little mindful. A mindful moment today may propel you forward in a way that you would not have necessarily foreseen. So let's get into it. It was Temperance yesterday. Today we have. Oh, okay. We have the opposite of the energy I was feeling, but this may be why that mindful moment is important. Because the card today is the Seven of Wands. There she is. And the Seven of Wands is definitely not meditative. It's definitely not taking that mindful moment. But I think, again, maybe that's why we need to. Oh, see, I told y'all this is super wonk. There we go. Super wonk today. Wonk wonk. We may need a little bit of a more lighthearted approach today. And maybe there is a little bit of an energy of turning something into a competition that's not a competition. But also maybe there's an energy of there's nothing wrong with a little friendly competition, right? And maybe it also speaks to motivations. And I've spoken of motivations lately. It might have been with the Six of Pentacles that kickstarted this section. And it was about how, like, the intention behind the manifestation, how that's important. No, it was the Nine of Cups. And it was in the Affirmators Tarot. So that was in the pick a card thing. Did I title that video? I think I did. It was like pick love and relationships, maybe. In that one. The Nine of Cups came out. And I think that's the first time I've seen the Nine of Cups in that deck, really. Because I was expecting something else to be on the card, but it wasn't. I was expecting the Eight of Cups. Or I was expecting the image from the Eight of Cups, but it was the Nine of Cups. So maybe that also plays in here. Because, again, in the space of like turning something into a competition that's not a competition, it's like it was wish fulfillment, but I was expecting to see the image of needing to walk away. And so maybe that's why that mindful moment is going to be important today. Or a mindful moment is important in general. Because what it does is it can either contextualize something or it can remove us from the context of something. When it contextualizes something, that's when we have the ability to see something as important or necessary as like a stepping stone to the next thing. It puts it into context. It completes the puzzle. When we decontextualize something, that's when it's like we take the feelings out of the situation. So let's say that someone says something that triggers you, but it wasn't intentional. That mindful moment will be able to put you in a space to hear like what they actually said instead of what you think they just said, if that makes sense. And so with this, like, it just feels like there's a defensive energy where there doesn't need to be. Because in this deck, like, the Six of Wands are at her feet. Her boots are green and the tips of the wands are green. And so it's like standing on that foundation of victory. You don't have to be so defensive. Like, it's something that you've already conquered. It's something that you've already beat, bested, and defeated. This may also be a little bit of a retrograde Mercury action going on here. And it feels like you've grown in a lot of different areas. And things are going to be coming at you from different directions. Things that may sort of trigger you on first response. But it's almost like a triggering out of habit more so than like a true trigger. Like, oh, this is something that used to trigger me, so now I'm triggered. It's like responding out of habit. But I feel like it has the opportunity to put you in a space like, oh, wait, like, I'm not actually like triggered by this anymore, though. Like, it was just like a reflex. And so what it does is it strengthens you. and it weakens that trigger even more. But again, I think that mindful moment is going to be important because, like, if we're having a bad day, then it's going to be difficult to put anything in a context outside of that bad day. Or it can be. It doesn't have to be, but it can be. And so, I don't know. I think a little mindfulness will go a long way today. Also, coming off of temperance, this could be a need to speak. And that's another side of Mercury retrograde energy. Like, it may be time to go in and clear something up. Right? Because this is my first air retrograde Mercury year since I started following astrology, or since I started getting into astrology. And last year, Pisces dipped back into Aquarius, Scorpio dipped back into Libra. I don't think Mercury retrograde in Cancer went back into Gemini, but I'm pretty sure when Mercury retrograded in Pisces, it went back to Aquarius because I was like, it's coming up for air after it's been in the water. And then it retrograded from Scorpio back into Libra. I know that. But I don't know about Cancer into Gemini, so it's like I got a taste. But here, for me personally, so far it's been related to choices and decisions that I've made in the past. And that makes sense because it's airy, right? And again, with the Seven of Wands energy, like the victory has already been had. So we don't necessarily need to be so defensive. And it doesn't have to put you in a space of questioning. It could put you in a space of just being like, oh, yeah, no. And some of the things that come up may actually be important for you moving forward. Like for me, I know that all of the stuff that came up for me are things that I need to be conscious of as I move forward, as I am looking to relocate and start work, because I don't want to make the same like trauma-based antisocial decisions that I used to make in the past. Because part of what makes me so awesome is my ability to like connect with anybody and everybody. Now, in the work setting, oh, hey Zelda, how you doing today? I'm loving the flower vibes. I'm loving the flower vibes. In the work setting, it's like we're coworkers. We're not going to be necessarily be friends, so I can work with like anybody. Um, thanks to my first job. You're about to drive. Oh, okay, nice. Have a safe trip. And so it's like some of the people closest to me I met while I was on the job. Like my best friend Emily, who y'all hear me talk about sometimes, who's just amazing. She got me as a gift. She sent me a package and I see this when I open it. And I'm like, did she get me like a purse? But it's actually some journals. And my mom was like, oh, it's a journal. I said, well, it looked like a purse to me. I couldn't tell what it was. It's 2 journals in here. And I actually started writing in one of them. They're write one line journals. And I love the concept of write one line. I would love to like do it and share. Maybe I can. Maybe I'll find some friends to write one line with. I've started in one, and I've actually been wanting to write because I can now, because I can see the paper. And she also got me a book that the title is right here. It's like The Magic Beyond Fear or something like that. And that's so perfect for where I am in life right now, because I was afraid of what life would be like after college, and I didn't know if because of my eyes I would be able to function in the world independently, and it caused a lot of depression and stress and tears and stuff that I never dealt with, so I just suppressed it until it bubbled back up, and I was like, oh my gosh, Let me turn it down a little bit. I ain't gotta go all the way there. It was just like more sort of devastating every time because I was even closer to graduation, and it was something that I never handled or faced. And so now that I've addressed those issues, and now that my eyes aren't as big of a deal as they were in the past because now I know what was up. And I think that's another thing with this energy too. It takes me back to when I did the combination between, I think it's the angel spread and the baron spread, when the Nine of Wands came out over on the side, and it was this energy of like, these challenges are not meant to break you. They're not meant to delay you. They're not meant to get you to doubt and question. They're meant to remind you of who you are and how powerful you are, and the strength and the agency that you have in your own life when you decide to wield it. Everything, it's beyond like everything that you need, you already have. It's indescribable. I'm not going to try to put any words to it. But all of these challenges are meant to remind you like that's who you are and that's what you're capable of in your own life. And that's what the Seven of Wands energy is. Again, it's like it wasn't meant to, it's not that it wasn't meant to slow me down, because there's a lot that I learned and there's a lot of amazing people that I would not have met had I graduated on time. And there's a lot of stuff I wouldn't have done had I graduated on time. Like a lot of work I wouldn't have done on myself. A lot of opportunities I wouldn't have had. And at the end of the day, it didn't destroy me. It delayed me for a minute, but I was still learning and growing in other areas when that was happening. So it's to stand victorious. And she's holding the Ace of Wands. So the Seven of Wands could also be a new direction off the path of where you were going before. Because the Six Wands that she claimed victory in, it's like they've lost their color. It's like they're dry now, right? She got everything that she could get out of them. And now she's holding the ace that still has some color in it. And it's getting lighter at one of the ends. But there's still a lot more for her to sort of like gain an experience in this area. It's an Ace of Wands energy in a space that feels like redirection at the same time. There's a lot of stuff in the Seven of Wands energy. Take them as they resonate. I would say go for it. Sometimes we get really comfortable, and that's an analogy that I've been using for a long time, for a few days now, of challenges coming across your desk and then you pushing them off on someone else because you know that evaluations are coming up and you want to look as good as you possibly can. It's for you to rise to the challenge in whatever way you're being challenged right now. Because this Mercury retrograde is happening in the space that Saturn and Jupiter just entered. And so it has the opportunity, like within this month, let's say from like mid-January to mid-March. I don't know when the post shadow ends, but let's say from mid-January to mid-March, there's something in there, a challenge or a reminder of challenges that you've already overcome, that's potentially going to be key and instrumental to your forward progression and movement, because Saturn and Jupiter are here. And Saturn is closer now to the zenith energy of Aquarius, and Jupiter is closer to the terminal. And so it's like, it's a reminder of something that will serve you well when you move into a challenge that holds infinite reward and abundance behind it because of Jupiter. But you have to navigate through Saturn before you can get to Jupiter. And this isn't a Capricornian Saturn, right? So I don't necessarily feel that this is something that's like working on the foundation because that's what Capricorn is for. That's what everything in Capricorn was for. Everything in Capricorn was to expose the weaknesses and the flaws and the foundations. Now that we're in Aquarius, it's time to fix that and build that ish, like sky high. And you can't have a skyscraper on a foundation that can barely support a 2-story building. Like, that level of growth and expansion isn't possible. Because if it can't support 2 stories, how is it going to support 73 or 77? Oh, I had a dream. Oh, that was a while ago. It was a dream about an elevator that never went to the floor that I wanted to go on. So I'm just riding the elevator, pushing the buttons. It was fine. But one of the floors was floor 77. So, or 61 or 16, because, 6 and then 1. I got lost in the metaphor. It's building off of the foundation. And so that's why I feel like the 7 of Wands is here, because it's like you've already, like, it's a reminder of what you've already done, what you've already built, what you've already accomplished. And it's time to build off of that. And it's not going to be without challenge, but it's nothing that you can't handle. And if you contextualize the situation or decontextualize any anxiety, you would realize that it's something that you've been preparing for. Because again, the contextualization, it puts it in like, oh, it's a stepping stone. This is the next step. This is the next process in the evolution. And if it was challenging down here, it may be challenging going up here, but it's for your good. And it's to decontextualize that anxiety. Like, what if I'm not good enough? Because last time I got an opportunity like this, it fell apart. And it's like, okay, well, why did it fall apart? Did it fall apart because you were in a space where you weren't handling and addressing, and because you weren't healed yet, or because this was something that like prevented you more, or this was a bigger blockage that back then? Because if that's the case, now that you've done everything that you've done, we're coming off of temperance, off of that alchemy and healing and balancing and detoxification. Like, you're not in the same space to fall apart now. Like, you've already taken care of this. And this is a reminder that you've already taken care of this. It's not to convince you that, I don't know, you're not healed enough yet. Because in some ways, healing is just doing it. Right? And when you weren't healed enough, it's like you couldn't do it no matter how hard you would have tried. But now you can. Like, now you're ready. Like, everything is in Aquarius now. It's time to expand, it's time to grow, and it's time to build. And fortunately or unfortunately, we are in a time globally where we really need to build and expand towards the future. And the slate has never been more clean, or what we need has never been more obvious and pressing. And that's what all that heavy Capricorn stuff was about. It's giving us the opportunity to really move forward, because now we see how much a lot of the systems in the past did not work. And those old systems can't support this new growth. Those old systems could barely support what they were doing. And if you look at some of them, they weren't even doing that. That's why everything is changing. That's why Pluto is so like, And Pluto is still there in Capricorn. So foundations are still going to be continuously growing and shifting. But I feel like that's a good position for Pluto, because it's not like we have the systems right now like completed. So it's like Pluto is still going to be in Capricorn, kind of sort of like matching everything that we do in Aquarius, getting it all to ground, getting it all to connect, rooting it in this new energy and taking us out of that old one. But it requires us to face challenges and to stand victorious, and to stop buying into old lies and old excuses why we preferred the old system, because a lot of that was intentional. But anyway, this tea is good today. It is. I got 2 bags instead of just 1, so I get more of the flavor. Um, but yeah, that's the Seven of Wands. I think that's good. So remember that. I think I'll title this Contextualize or Decontextualize, or Contextualize slash Decontextualize, and maybe, I don't know. I'll figure it out. I hope you have a good whatever. Thanks, Zoda, for popping in. It was fun, even though I didn't really interact. But you're driving, so that's why. Yeah, you know. I hope y'all have a good whatever whenever you see this, and I hope you're acting in alignment to make that which you wish to experience your reality, because it's possible. And because you've probably already been doing the work to do it anyway. It's like, if you already did the work, why would you refuse the paycheck? It's like, oh no, you don't have to pay me. Like, I'm good. And it's like, no, like, here, just take it. And you're like, no, no. But it's like, girl, like, you clocked in. You did work. This is your compensation for the work. This ain't like I'm just giving you something that you didn't deserve. And you're like, no, like, I'm good. It's like, okay. All right, don't take it. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm not supposed to go here. It's yours. Take it. And that paycheck, it's like when you start your own business, and if you have the luxury of not needing all of your personal business income to pay like bills and stuff, then you reinvest the money that you make from your business back into your business, and then it builds and expands itself. Not necessarily itself, because you still have to work, but the funds can go towards building more capital. Oh, snap. At the BMV. Well, hopefully you have a good experience. Personally, I've only really had good experiences at, it's the DMV here, but it was the BMV in Indiana. But I know a lot of people don't, so we have the experience that we want to have. If you go into the BMV like, oh, it's gonna suck, then hey, it might suck. Anyway, I'm sorry. But yeah. Hold up, wait. I gotta where my read is most of that I can read. But that last one. I forget what I was saying. Those people who act in alignment can experience what it is that they wish to experience. Oh, what tea is it? It's strawberry hibiscus. So, yeah. I was like, ooh, okay. I'm not a huge fan of strawberry, but it works with the hibiscus. What was I talking about? For those who act in alignment. Oh yeah, about not accepting the things that you already. Okay, when you make the money, you invest it back into your business, and the business grows. All right, you go towards expanding capital and things like that. And like, it's kind of sort of that energy. So there is some reward in this, and there is enjoyment that you have to claim, especially if you've already done the work. But it's like you'll keep on going. And maybe that's the final energy from this Seven of Wands. It's that although like you've already claimed victory, the game isn't over. You still have more life to live. If you're watching this, you still have more life to live. If you're on the other side and you're watching this, you still have more afterlife to live, because maybe you's on the other side of the veil gaining more knowledge and information before you incarnate again, or maybe you somebody's spirit guide or something, and that's something that you need to see so you can drop it in somebody else's spirit. I don't know. But if you're watching this, you've already claimed victory, but there is still more to go. And so I love that it's the six wands at the bottom, because that's your foundation. The foundation is victory. The foundation is the accomplishment. The foundation is all of the work and all of the temperance, healing that you've already done, alchemy that you've done, recontextualization of some things, the letting go of other things, the seeking of things that used to hide behind walls guarded by deep fears and insecurities. Like, you're not at the end yet. And so keep going, be encouraged. I'm drinking the strawberry hibiscus, Zada. It's strawberry hibiscus tea. But that's what I got. That's what I got. There's a lot. Seven of Wands could be anything. It can be everything. I will catch y'all later. Maybe tomorrow. There's something that I want to do, but I don't have the space for it. And I haven't built it, but it's not something to build. Even though it kind of sort of is. Because then I'll forget. I'll forget what the positions are. Maybe I won't. I'll try it. I'll go for it. I don't know. We'll see. If you see me, you'll see me. If you don't see me, you won't see me. Hey, I can't read your name. It looks like Soul something, maybe. I was literally just about to go until you said hello. Soul Troop. Hello, Soul Troop. And oh, goodbye. It reminded me of Into the Woods, the Wolf song when he was like, "Goodbye, little girl," and hello, but it was hello and goodbye. So, all right. Oh, that's another song. Hello, goodbye, hello, goodbye. That used to be on commercials. You say hello, I say goodbye.